Property development is one of those games where you can lose money as quick as you can make it. You can understand feasibilities, planning overlays, builder margins, and finance structures in theory. But when you are actually in the trenches, speaking with councils, managing consultants, negotiating tenders, or dealing with variations, that's where the real learning happens. And that is usually the exact moment most people wish they had someone to call. What people often miss is that property development mentoring isn't about having someone to tell you what to do. It's about having a genuine expert in your corner, not group coaching, not a community Q&A, not theory or hype. It's someone who's actually developing every single day. Someone who helps you make smarter decisions in real time before those small issues spiral into expensive ones. It's about clarity right when you need it. And why does that clarity matter so much? It's because property development is fluid. Things are always changing. What made sense last week might not be the right move this week. You don't know what you don't know. This is a high stakes game. One wrong decision can set you back serious time and money fast. There are countless variables and they all shift as your project moves along. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of the times, it's not just a single big mistake that gets you. It's the small decisions that quietly add up. Maybe you picked the wrong consultant. Maybe you accepted a tender at face value, or you didn't clarify a scope item, or you missed the planning nuance. These are the things that compound, and you don't even realize until you're knee deep in trouble. That's where a mentor steps in. Not to run your project for you, but to help you see those decisions clearly, to help you understand what needs attention now, what can wait, and what deserves a firm push. It's clarity in the moment when it really counts. So you might be wondering, what about learning this stuff on my own, or just handing the whole thing over to someone else? If you want to learn the entire process from scratch and are happy to work things out as you go, my Townhouse Masterclass is a great starting point. It's about the structure and the thinking behind the development decisions. It's solid education, but it doesn't happen in real time, and it can't help you when you're right at the coalface making a decision. On the flip side, if you want your development delivered with minimal involvement, that's where our project management comes in. My team and I at Little Fish manage everything for you using proven systems and processes. You stay informed, make key decisions, but you're not coordinating consultants or negotiating tenders. You own the project, you're just not in the thick of it day to day. But mentoring, that's the middle lane. You're learning, you're involved, you're developing your skill set while running your project. You're not alone and you're not guessing. With one-on-one mentoring, you're making decisions with me in real time based on what's happening in the market today. This is for people who want to build competence, reduce risk, and genuinely become confident developers. Why does it matter that your mentor is active in the game? Because property development isn't static. Planning expectations shift, builder pricing changes with the market, lenders tighten or loosen depending on their risk appetite. Councils are all different. If your mentor isn't actively developing right now, they can't give you advice that reflects today's conditions. What worked 3 years ago doesn't automatically work today. That's why I'm in the thick of it every day, managing real sites and dealing with real problems developers face, not theory. I'm working with planners to understand the real impact of overlays, setbacks, overshadowing, neighbourhood character, and what council is likely to push back on. Not what the guidelines say, but what they actually care about on the ground. I'm working with engineers on drainage designs, sewer points, street side services, understanding retaining requirements, car turning circles, crossovers, and making sure that you're not copying over-engineered garbage that blows your budget out for no reason. That alone saves people tens of thousands of dollars. I'm speaking with surveyors about the stuff that can quietly derail a project if you don't catch it early. Things like re-establishment surveys, boundary clarifications, and understanding exactly what the plan of subdivision is going to require. We're looking at easements, restrictions, offsets, and any site conditions that might impact design, drainage, services, or buildability. If something's going to trigger a request for further information, an RFI at council, we want to know before the application even goes in, so nothing slows us down later. The goal is simple: spot the landmines early so you don't lose months fixing something that could have been identified on day one. I'm working with designers to keep things buildable and cost efficient. We value manage the drawings, look at circulation and livability, make sure the private open space is compliant, and we keep the layouts efficient, marketable and deliverable. It's about designing something that looks good on paper, hits what buyers are looking for, and doesn't blow the budget the moment you try and build it. I'm working with builders on things that make or break your numbers. Tender scopes, inclusions, exclusions, assumptions, provisional items, and all the spots that turn into variation traps if you miss them. We break the quotes down properly so we're comparing apples with apples and not just getting hit with hidden costs, inflated margin, or scope gaps that blow out later. Most first timers don't even know where these traps sit. This is where real experience saves you real money. And being across this stuff every day means I can show you what actually matters when you're assessing a builder, not just the noise that throws most people off. It's the stuff people don't learn until it hurts, and the guidance I give you that comes from that exact place. What's happening right now, not theory, not outdated rules, current market reality. And because of the volume my team and I run, we get priority access and sharper pricing from our project partners. One thing I haven't touched on yet, and honestly, it's one of the most underrated benefits of the mentoring program with me, is the partnership discounts that we get through Little Fish. And I'm not talking about a 5% here or there or a couple of freebies. I'm talking about real, meaningful savings on the exact products that we're already going to use. Let me give you a live example so you can see it properly. We recently finished a dual occupancy project in Fairfield, 88 Gilly Street, Fairfield. You can literally look it up online and check it out on realestate.com. 2 townhouses, ABI interiors right through the whole thing. Taps, mixers, showers, baths, basins, sinks, all your plumbing, fixtures and fittings. Now, here's the part that shocks people. The recommended retail price for a full ABI package on a job like this was around $27,300. A lot of the builders get around 10% trade discount, which gets you to around $24,600. Some builders even get 15% discount, which gets them to around $23,300. But through our Little Fish partnerships, my mentorees get access to 30% discount. That same package comes down to around $19,000. That's a saving of more than $8,000 on plumbing fixtures alone on one dual occupancy project. And that's not some cherry-picked example. If you're doing a dual occupancy, 3 or 4 townhouses, or even a knockdown rebuild, the savings scale with the size of the job. And this is the part that most people don't realize. Even if you took the mentoring purely to access that discount, you're basically paying for the mentoring through the savings. And the mentoring becomes a bonus on top. It's one of those quiet advantages that never gets talked about, and it genuinely moves the needle on the bottom line. But beyond that, there's a hidden layer that most people don't think about: the network effect. Everyone imagines mentoring is just jumping on a call for answers. The real value is that you plug into an ecosystem where everyone already knows how to work together. Everyone understands the exact sequence to get the project from A to B without unnecessary friction. You're not wasting months dealing with consultants who overspec, overdesign, overprice, or undercommunicate. You avoid the painful back and forth and the death by 1,000 delays that kill most first projects. Plus, like I said, the partnership rates across every stage really do save serious money. People are shocked when they realize how much money they actually save. I want to share a real life example of where mentoring genuinely changed the direction of someone's project. And this is just one of many. This one's about another mentoree, Adam, and a dual occupancy that he was doing in Murrumbeena. When he joined the program, he was right at the finish line of choosing a builder. He had one quote, recommended by his architect, and on the surface, it looked okay. But the moment I dug into the tender and the contract they wanted him to sign, it was a disaster waiting to happen. The contract wasn't even a proper HIA or master builder's contract. It was something the builder had drafted themselves, which is never good to sign. The tender had big gaps, unclear scopes, and multiple allowances that were guaranteed to blow out. And the builder didn't even have a track record for delivering the kind of project that Adam was trying to do. So from my point of view, he was heading straight into budget blowouts, delays, and headaches. Once he came into the mentoring program, I stepped in promptly. I reached out to the builders in my network, builders we work with every day with proven delivery on the projects just like his, and got them to tender the job. They came back with full fixed price contracts right where Adam needed the numbers to be. Clear scopes, minimal variation exposure, and proper documentation. And a genuine track record for doing this level of work. And because they value the little fish relationship, because we don't give them just one-off jobs, the accountability and service are on a completely different level than Adam would have been able to achieve on his own. That alone changed the trajectory of his build and his entire project. And then there's the money. The mentoring fee was 20 grand, including GST. He paid it through his development entity, so it was tax deductible. And on top of that, through the ABI partnership discount, he saved thousands on the plumbing fixtures alone. That exact example I shared earlier. When you add it all up, the real cost of the mentoring ended up well below $10,000. But the real win, he avoided a bad builder, a bad contract, budget blowouts, and months of stress. And now his project is running smoothly, exactly how it should have been from day one. That's what happens when you're not doing this game alone. On that note, if you're looking to connect with other like-minded developers, I'd love to see you inside our free property development network. Thousands of us in there collaborating every day. You'll find the link below. Back to the mentoring itself. It's not about dependence. The goal isn't for me to think for you. It's to develop your judgment. Every decision we work through, every tender review, every feasibility adjustment, every planning decision, every engineering workaround sharpens how you see the game. Soon enough, you start spotting those things yourself, the real things that actually move the needle. And once that happens, most of the wheel shifts into your hands. And you can run projects confidently without having to learn every lesson the expensive way. When you have the right mentor, your decision-making sharpens. Things get clearer, your feasibilities become grounded instead of hopeful. Your due diligence speeds up because you know exactly what to look for. The guesswork falls away. The whole development process becomes clearer, more predictable, and repeatable. Mentoring makes the most sense if your goal is to become a developer, to build the skill set long term. If you want the project delivered without being involved, go with the full project management. If you're still figuring out whether development is even for you, start with the Townhouse Masterclass. There's no best or worst lanes. It's just about picking the one that fits where you are and where you want to go. So, what's different about my personal one-on-one mentoring? When you choose to work with me, you're working with me directly. Not a coach, not a junior, me. And you tap into the systems, build a network, and delivery capability behind me, the stuff my team and I use on our own projects every day. I've overseen hundreds of builds and projects and more than $500 million worth of developments across Victoria. The advice you get is aligned with what councils are approving right now, what builders are quoting right now, and what lenders are approving right now. You set the agenda. If you need help sharpening feasibilities and acquisition strategies, we start there. If you want full end-to-end support, we map that out together. It's tailored, it's real, and it's built to make you competent. Now, I'll be honest with you, mentoring isn't for everyone. Some people just want the outcome without the process. Some people want to figure it out themselves and take the long road. Nothing wrong with that either. But if you want to learn this game properly, if you want real confidence, if you want to run your projects on your terms, mentoring is the fastest and safest way to do that. It removes blind spots, it prevents avoidable losses, and it compresses years of trial and error. Not because it gives you shortcuts, but because it gives you clarity. If you found this valuable, do me a massive favor, smash the hype button and the like buttons. Please subscribe and leave a comment. The more these videos get pushed, the more people I can reach. And before you go, jump into the Little Fish Network. Thousands of active developers sharing real-world experience every day. The link's below. Finally, if you want to work with me on one-on-one mentoring and get clarity on your next move, or just have a chat about where you're at, please book a call with me anytime. No pitch, no pressure, just value. There's a link below for that too. I'm Peter Kelly. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, see you at the top.